The nun teaching Sunday school was speaking to her class one morning, and she asked the question, "When you die and go to heaven, which part of your body goes first?" Susie raised her hand and said, "I think it's your hands." "Why do you think it's your hands, Susie?" Susie replied, "Because when you pray, you hold your hands together in front of you, and God just takes your hands first." "What a wonderful answer," the nun said. Little Johnny raised his hand and said, "Sister, I think it's your legs." The nun looked at him with the strangest look on her face. "Now, little Johnny, why do you think it would be your legs?" Little Johnny said, "Well, I walked into Mommy and Daddy's bedroom the other night. Mommy had her legs straight up in the air and she was saying, 'Oh God, I'm coming.' If Dad hadn't pinned her down, we'd have lost her. When I got married, I was always so incompetent about everything around the house. Cleaning, gardening, mowing the lawn. Finally, my wife asked me, 'Honey, why can't you do anything right? Why are you always so incompetent?' I told her the truth. I said, 'Honey, it makes you so happy.'" Linda was well over 30, but still completely flat-chested. Despite her low self-esteem, she had dared to go out to a pub on a Saturday night. Suddenly, a handsome guy appeared next to her and asked, "Why do you look so sad?" "Well," Linda answered honestly, "it's because my chest looks like a newborn baby girl's." "Then I think we should stick together tonight," he said, "because my package looks like a newborn baby boy's." Later that evening, they went home to his place. She sat on the edge of the bed while he undressed. When his underwear came off, Linda just sat there, staring in disbelief. "But you told me you looked like a newborn baby boy down there?" "I do," he said. 21 inches and 8 pounds, 6 ounces. Our teacher asked us what our favorite animal was, and I said, "Fried chicken." She said I wasn't funny, but everyone else laughed, so clearly someone was wrong. My parents always told me to be honest, and fried chicken is my favorite animal. I told my dad, and he said my teacher was probably with PETA because they really love animals. I told him I do too, especially chicken, pork, and beef. Anyway, my teacher sent me to the principal's office. I told him what happened. He laughed and told me not to do it again. Next day, she asked me what my favorite live animal was. I said chicken again. "Why?" she asked. "Because you can make them into fried chicken." Back to the principal's office. He laughed again. Still told me not to do it again. I'm confused. I'm being honest, like I was raised to be. Then today, she asked who my favorite famous person was. I said, "Colonel Sanders?" Guess where I am now? Today the teacher is teaching the class numbers. Teacher, what comes after 69? Little Johnny, mouthwash. Teacher, get out! It was a sunny Monday morning, and room 14 was alive with chatter and leftover weekend excitement. Ms. Taylor, a cheerful third-grade teacher with a love for quirky math problems, decided it was the perfect moment to wake up their brains. "Okay, team," she said, clapping her hands. "Here's a fun one. Let's see who's really awake." She grabbed a marker and wrote on the board, "If you have $2 and ask your father for 2 more, how much money will you have?" She scanned the room and landed on a boy in the middle row. "Jaden, want to give it a try?" Jaden grinned, tilted his head, and answered confidently, $2. Ms. Taylor blinked. "Just 2? But you asked your dad for 2 more. Wouldn't that make 4? Jaden shook his head slowly. "Nope, still 2. Ms. Taylor smiled, puzzled. I think someone needs a refresher in addition." Jaden leaned back in his chair and replied, "Nah, I think someone needs to meet my dad." The entire class erupted in laughter. Even Ms. Taylor couldn't help but laugh along, shaking her head. "Fair enough, Jaden. That might be the most realistic math problem we've done all year." A woman is preparing a French dinner for her parents and sends her husband out to buy some fresh snails. The husband buys the snails, then pops into the bar for a quick drink. One thing leads to another, and he stays for a few rounds, so many, in fact, that by the time he leaves, it's 9 in the evening. Realizing he's extremely late, the husband runs home, pours the snails over the path leading to his house. Then he rings the bell. His furious wife opens the door. "Where the hell have you been?" she screams. The husband waves back to the snails. "Come on, guys," he shouts. "We're nearly there." Two curious magpies were perched on the handle of an old tractor, watching Farmer Joe in the barn. He was busy grinding up something meaty, and the scent was irresistible. Suddenly, the farmer wiped his hands and walked into the house. One magpie nudged the other and said, "Let's go. That stuff smells amazing." So off they flew, straight into the barn. There, on the workbench, were slices of fresh meat, probably bologna, maybe mystery meat, but they weren't picky. They pecked and gobbled until they couldn't flap their wings from fullness. "Whew," said one. "I'm stuffed." "Same here," said the other. "Let's get out before we get caught." They flapped back to their perch just as the farmer returned. One magpie looked uneasy. "I think I ate too much," he said. "I'm gonna go lie down in the shade for a bit." He took off toward the woods, but mid-flight he wobbled, spun, and plopped right onto the lawn. His buddy watched in horror. My wife Judy had been reminding me repeatedly to varnish the wooden toilet seat in our bathroom. I kept putting it off, as husbands sometimes do, until one day, while she was out running errands, I finally decided to surprise her and get the job done. I carefully applied the varnish, felt quite pleased with myself, and then left the house to run an errand, assuming the seat would have plenty of time to dry. Turns out, I was very wrong. Judy came home, got undressed to take a shower, and, unaware of my earlier handiwork, sat down on the freshly varnished toilet seat. When she tried to stand back up, she discovered the varnish hadn't dried completely. She was stuck. By the time I got home, she was in full crisis mode. We tried everything, pushing, pulling, even a bit of twisting, but it was no use. In the end, I had to unscrew the entire toilet seat and take it off with Judy still attached. Wrapped in a bed sheet, for dignity, she and I made a rather awkward trip to the hospital emergency room, toilet seat and all. Once there, the ER doctor managed to help her into a position where he could assess the situation. It was, needless to say, not one of our finest or most elegant moments. Trying to lighten the mood, Judy gave a sheepish smile and said, "Well, doctor, I bet you've never seen anything like this before." Without missing a beat, the doctor grinned and replied, "Oh, I've seen this before, but never one so perfectly mounted and framed." At a local weight loss support group, Margaret stood up with a sheepish grin. "I had a moment this weekend," she confessed. "I baked my family's favorite chocolate cake. After dinner, they ate exactly half of it. I was proud of myself for only having a small sliver." She paused. "But then the next morning, that remaining half started talking to me, whispering from the kitchen like some sweet, frosted siren." The group laughed. I told myself just one tiny slice for closure. But you know how it goes. One slice became another, and before I knew it, poof, gone. Every crumb. A woman in the back gasped. "Oh no, what did your husband say?" Margaret shrugged with a mischievous smile. "He never found out. I baked a second cake, ate half of that, and left it on the counter like nothing ever happened." A boss called his secretary one morning and said, "Pack your bags. We're going abroad this week. Please make all the travel arrangements." The secretary, doing her job, immediately called her husband. "Sweetheart, I have to travel for work this week. I'll be going abroad with my boss." Seeing an opportunity, the husband picked up the phone and called his secret girlfriend. "My wife's going to be out of town for a few days. Why don't you come stay with me?" The girlfriend, thrilled, called one of her tutoring students. "No lessons this week, sweetie. I'll be away." The student, now free, called his grandpa excitedly. Grandpa, my teacher canceled classes. Can I come spend the weekend with you? Grandpa, happy to hear it, called his secretary. Cancel my travel plans. My grandson is coming to visit instead. The secretary called her husband again. Change of plans? My boss canceled the trip. I won't be traveling after all. The husband panicked and quickly called his lover. My wife's staying home now. Our plans are off. The girlfriend then called her student. Actually, we're back on for lessons this week. The student, disappointed, called Grandpa. Sorry, Grandpa. My teacher rescheduled class. I can't come anymore. With a long sigh, Grandpa picked up the phone once more and told his secretary, Well, never mind what I said earlier. My grandson's not coming. The trip is back on. Please make the arrangements again. One afternoon, a woman wandered into a quirky little pet shop. As she browsed, her eyes landed on a beautiful, brightly colored parrot perched in a cage. The sign read, $50. Surprised, she asked the shop owner, That's a stunning bird. Why so cheap? The owner gave a slightly awkward smile. Well, to be honest, this parrot used to live in a brothel. He's perfectly harmless, but sometimes he says things that, reflect his past environment. The woman raised an eyebrow, but then shrugged. I've worked in customer service. I've heard it all. I'll take him. She brought the parrot home, set up his cage in the living room, and waited to see what he'd say. The parrot looked around, fluffed his feathers, and said, New place, new madam. She blinked, then laughed. Well, I guess he wasn't kidding. Later that afternoon, her 2 teenage daughters came home from school. As they walked into the room, the parrot eyed them and squawked, New place, new madam, new girls? The daughters burst into laughter. Mom, where did you get this bird? Before she could respond, her husband walked through the door, briefcase in hand. The parrot leaned forward, studied him, and exclaimed, New place, new madam, new girls. Hey, Frank, long time no see. Silence. The wife turned slowly to her husband. The daughters stared at him, wide-eyed. And the parrot? He just gave a smug little grin and fluffed his feathers. A little boy hops on a bus and sits right behind the driver. Grinning, he starts chattering. If my mom was a hen and my dad was a rooster, I'd be a little chick. The bus driver sighs. Oh, great, one of these kids. The boy keeps going. If my mom was a cow and my dad was a bull, I'd be a little calf. The driver groans. Kid, please shut up. But the boy, oh, he's just getting started. If my mom was a female elephant and my dad was a male elephant, I'd be a little elephant. The driver grips the wheel tighter. I said, shut up. Still, the kid doesn't quit. If my mom was a dog and my dad was a dog, I'd be a little puppy. The driver snaps. All right, kid, what if your mom was a waitress and your dad was unemployed? What would you be then? Without missing a beat, the boy smirks and says, a bus driver. The bus nearly swerves off the road. A man stumbles upon a lost wallet containing $700. A few days later, he notices a public notice. A wealthy man has lost his wallet and is offering a $50 reward for its return. Wanting to do the right thing, the man tracks down the owner and hands over the wallet. The rich man takes it, counts the money, and immediately frowns. I see you've already taken your reward, he says. What are you talking about? The poor man asks, confused. This wallet had $750 in it when I lost it. An argument breaks out, and soon enough, they find themselves in court. Each man states his case. The wealthy man finishes with a confident, Your Honor, surely you believe me. The judge nods. Of course. The rich man grins smugly while the poor man looks crushed, until the judge suddenly takes the wallet and hands it to him. Wait! What are you doing? The rich man protests. The judge calmly explains, You are, without a doubt, an honest man. If you say your wallet had $750 in it, I believe you. But if this other man was a liar and a thief, he wouldn't have returned the wallet at all. So clearly, this must belong to someone else. If the rightful owner comes forward, they'll get the money. Otherwise, it stays with the man who found it. The rich man is furious. But what about my money? The judge shrugs. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait until someone finds your wallet, with the $750 in it. My doctor said I need to get more exercise. So I shared my daily workout routine. I jump to conclusions, climb the walls, drag my heels, push my luck, make mountains out of molehills, bend over backward, run around in circles, put my foot in my mouth, go over the edge, and beat around the bush. By the time I finish all that, I'm completely worn out. Who has the energy for anything else? A good laugh or even a smile to start the day. It's the best kind of workout. A husband and his wife were celebrating 50 years together. Their 3 kids, all very successful, all agreed to a Sunday dinner in their honor. Happy anniversary, Mom and Dad, gushed son number 1, a surgeon. Sorry I'm running late. I had an emergency at the hospital with a patient, you know how it is, and didn't have time to get you a gift. Not to worry, said the father. The important thing is that we're all together today. Son number 2, a lawyer, arrived and announced, You and Mom look great, Dad. I just flew in from Los Angeles between depositions and didn't have time to shop for you. It's nothing, said the father. We're glad you were able to come. Just then the daughter, a marketing executive, arrived. Hello and happy anniversary. I'm sorry, but my boss is sending me out of town and I was really busy packing, so I didn't have time to get you anything. After they finished dessert, the father said, There's something your mother and I have wanted to tell you for a long time. You see, we were very poor. Despite this, we were able to send each of you to college. Throughout the years, your mother and I knew we loved each other very much, but we just never found the time to get married. The 3 children gasped and all said, You mean we're bastards? Yep, said the father. And cheap ones too. My husband and I pulled up to the McDonald's drive-thru window. I handed the cashier a $5 bill. Our total was $4.25, so I also gave her a quarter. She said, You gave me too much money. I replied, Yes, but that way you can just give me $1 back. She sighed, went to get the manager, who asked me to repeat my request. I did, and he gave me back the 25 cents, saying, Sorry, we don't do that kind of thing. Then the cashier handed me 75 cents in change. Don't confuse McDonald's employees, folks. We had to get our garage door fixed. The repairman told us the problem was the motor wasn't big enough. I said, We have the biggest one, a 1/2 horsepower. He shook his head. No, you need a 1/4 horsepower. I said, 1/2 is bigger than a 1/4. He replied, No, 4 is bigger than 2. Yeah, we didn't call him again. Living in a semi-rural area, we recently got a new neighbor who called the city council to remove the deer crossing sign. Reason? Too many deer are getting hit by cars. It's not a good crossing spot anymore. You can't fix stupid. My daughter went to a Mexican fast food place and ordered a taco with minimal lettuce. The worker said, Sorry, we only have iceberg lettuce. At the airport, an employee asked me, Has anyone put anything in your baggage without your knowledge? I said, If it was without my knowledge, how would I know? He just smiled and said, That's why we ask. I was crossing the street with a coworker who asked what the beeping pedestrian signal meant. I said, It helps blind people know when it's safe to cross. She gasped. What are blind people doing driving? She's a government employee. When my wife and I picked up our car from the dealership, they said the keys were locked inside. We watched a mechanic trying to unlock the driver's door. I tried the passenger door and it was already unlocked. I said, It's open. He said, I know. I already did that side. Stay alert, friends. They walk among us and breed. A couple went out for breakfast and noticed a senior special on the menu. 2 eggs, bacon, hash browns, and toast for just $2.99. "That sounds perfect," the wife said, "but I don't really want the eggs." The waiter replied, "Well, if you skip the eggs, I'll have to charge you $3.49 since it would be a la carte." Surprised, the wife asked, "So I'll be paying extra just for not taking the eggs?" "Exactly," the waiter confirmed. "Fine, I'll take the special," the wife agreed. The waiter smiled and asked, "How would you like your eggs?" "Raw and in the shell," she said without missing a beat. She took those eggs home, and later that day, she baked a cake. Lesson of the day. Don't mess with seniors. They've got tricks up their sleeves. A scruffy little dog got lost and somehow wandered into the jungle. He was sniffing around nervously when he caught the attention of a hungry lion nearby. The lion growled. "What in the wild is that? Looks weird, but probably tasty." The lion crouched low and began creeping toward him, ready to pounce. The dog spotted the lion and froze. But just then, he noticed a pile of old bones beside him and had a flash of genius. He sat down, licked his lips, and shouted loud enough for the lion to hear, "Wow, that lion I had for lunch was delicious. Hope another one comes by soon." The lion stopped dead in his tracks. "Yikes," he muttered. "This mud eats lions? I'm out of here." But up in the trees, a nosy monkey had been watching the whole thing. He zipped through the branches straight to the lion and spilled the beans. "Psst! That dog was faking it. He saw you and played you like a drum." The lion roared with fury. "Hop on, monkey. We're going back. He won't trick me twice." The two charged back toward the dog. This time the dog really panicked. But then, another stroke of brilliance. He yelled, pretending to talk to himself. "Where's that monkey? I sent him an hour ago to bring me another lion." The lion skidded to a stop. The monkey jumped off and vanished faster than a banana at snack time.